There is a softness to the Appalachians that makes you let your guard down. These are the oldest mountains on Earth, worn low and round over hundreds of millions of years until the sharp edges were gone, until they became the gentle blue ridges you see from an overlook, folded one behind another into the haze. You walk a wildflower trail in a t-shirt. You wade into a cold creek up to your knees, and you do not think, not once, about what might be holding still a few feet away. The mountains feel tame. They feel like a place that has already been settled, tamed, made safe. But that softness is a kind of camouflage. These mountains are the most biologically diverse temperate region on the planet. A green so thick and so old that it can hide almost anything, and does. Some of what lives here you would expect. Some of it would stop you cold if you knew it was standing in the tree line while you read the trail sign. Today we are counting down 15 dangerous animals of the Appalachian Mountains, ranked not simply by how much harm they can do, but by how completely they have stayed out of the picture you carry of these hills, from the ones hiding in plain sight to the ones you would never in 100 years guess were here. Some of these you have hiked past, some you have swum with, and the one at number 1 you may have carried home on your own body without ever feeling it. Before we start, if you like the kind of thing that makes you look twice at country you thought you knew, take a second to subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel. And I want to know one thing while you're here. Which stretch of these mountains are you watching from? Or which one are you headed to? Drop it in the comments. Let's get into the list. Number 15, the copperhead. We begin with the snake you are most likely to have already walked past. The copperhead lives across nearly the entire Appalachian range, from Alabama to New England, and it is responsible for more venomous snake bites than any other snake in the eastern United States, while almost never killing anyone, which is exactly the point. A copperhead's copper and hourglass pattern dissolves into dead leaves so completely that people stand a foot away and see only forest floor. It does not rattle, it does not flee. It lies in the leaf litter beside the trail, in the woodpile, along the stone wall, and it trusts that you will not notice. Most of the time, you don't. The bite, when it comes, is rarely fatal, and that mildness is why a whole region has quietly decided it is not worth watching for. Number 15 sets the theme for everything that follows. The most successful animals in these mountain zirkies are the ones you never knew were underfoot. Number 14, the black widow. Somewhere in the woodpile you are reaching into, there may be a spider carrying a neurotoxin 15 times stronger than a rattlesnake's venom. Drop for drop. Both the northern and southern black widow live in the Appalachians, and they specialize in exactly the places people put their hands without looking. Under the eave, inside the boot, left on the porch, in the dark corner of the shed. The widow is not aggressive. She is shy, and she would rather run than bite. But her venom attacks the nervous system, and a serious bite brings waves of muscle cramping, sweating, and pain that can last for days. She has been in these mountains the whole time, in the outbuilding you clean out every spring. Number 14 is the reminder that dangerous does not have to mean large. Number 13, the snapping turtle. You would not think of the thing at the bottom of the swimming hole as a predator, but the common snapping turtle lives in nearly every slow creek, farm pond, and river bottom in the Appalachians, and a big one is a genuinely powerful animal, a shell the size of a serving platter, a long neck that strikes faster than you would believe, and jaws that can close on a finger with real force. In the water, a snapper wants nothing to do with you, and will simply sink away into the mud. It is on land, when a female is crossing a road to lay eggs and feels cornered, that it becomes willing to lunge. People reach down to move one and learn that the neck reaches much farther back than it looks. In some southern Appalachian rivers, there is an even larger cousin. the alligator snapping turtle, built like something prehistoric. Number 13 has been under the surface of your favorite swimming hole all along. Number 12, the eastern coyote. Everyone knows there are coyotes in these mountains now. What most people do not know is what the Appalachian coyote actually is. When wolves were wiped out of the east, the coyotes that moved in to fill the empty territory bred with the remnant wolves along the way. So the eastern coyote that trots the ridgelines today carries wolf ancestry in its blood, and it is noticeably bigger than the small desert coyote of the west, some pushing 40 to 50 pounds. It is an animal built to live at the edge of us. It works the field margins and the greenways and the outskirts of the mountain towns, mostly unseen, eating whatever the season offers. And to the grief of pet owners, the outdoor cat or small dog left out after dark. People hear them at night and picture something smaller and less capable than what is really out there. Number 12 is the wolf's replacement, wearing a smaller name. Number 11, the timber rattlesnake. Now the snake the mountains made their own. The timber rattlesnake ranges the length of the Appalachians, and it is the region's most dangerous serpent by the only measure that counts. A large one, 3 to 5 feet of heavy body, carries enough venom to kill, and it lives in exactly the terrain people love to hike. The sunny rock outcrop, the talus slope, the laurel thicket beside the trail. Here is what makes it dangerous in a different way than you would expect. The timber rattler is, by temperament, remarkably patient and reluctant. It often will not rattle. It will hold its coil and trust its camouflage, letting hikers step within inches, choosing not to strike again and again until the one time someone puts a hand or a boot directly on it. People move through prime rattlesnake country in shorts and low shoes, certain they would hear it coming. It owes them no such warning. Number 11 is the mountain's quietest killer. Number 10, the yellow jackets and hornets. Here's a fact that surprises almost everyone. In the United States, stinging insects kill far more people than snakes, bears, and spiders combined, and the Appalachians are full of them. Ground-nesting yellow jackets build their colonies in old rodent burrows and hollow logs in the soft earth of the forest floor, invisible until a hiker's footstep or a lawnmower's vibration tears the entrance open. Then the ground itself seems to come alive. A disturbed yellow jacket colony can put dozens or hundreds of stingers into the air at once, and unlike a honeybee, each one can sting again and again. For the roughly 1 person in 1,000 with a severe allergy, a single sting can close a throat in minutes, miles from the nearest hospital. The bald-faced hornet, building its gray paper globe in the branches, defends it just as fiercely. Number 10 is the danger you don't see, because it is under your feet. Number 9, the brown recluse. The brown recluse has a fearsome reputation, and in the southern Appalachians, eastern Tennessee especially, and the edges of northern Georgia and Alabama, it genuinely lives up to part of it. This is a small, plain brown spider with a violin-shaped mark, and its venom is different from the widow's. Instead of hitting the nerves, it kills tissue, and a bad bite can open into a slow, ulcerating wound that takes months to heal. But the recluse earns its place here for a stranger reason. It is blamed for far more than it does. It hides in undisturbed places, the storage box, the wood pile, the clothes left in the basement, and stays out of sight so completely that people across the whole region are convinced they've been bitten by one when the spider does not even live in their county. The real thing is confined to the south of these mountains, doing quiet damage. Number 9 is the one whose legend travels farther than the animal. Number 8, the bobcat. We are at the halfway point, and if you're still with me, you're clearly someone who actually wants to know what shares this country with us. So if you haven't yet, this is the moment to subscribe, because the animals from here up are the ones people refuse to believe are real. With the wolf and the cougar gone from these mountains, the bobcat has quietly become one of Appalachia's apex predators. and almost no one ever sees one. Roughly twice the size of a house cat, it hunts the same seams where forest meets field, and it can live at densities about double that of coyotes while remaining essentially invisible. It moves at dawn and dusk, keeps to cover, and is gone before you register the shape. The denial here is total. When someone glimpses one, they reach for someone's big cat got loose because the truth that a wild predator keeps a hunting circuit through the woods behind the house does not fit the picture. But the bobcat has been there the whole time, watching trails you walk every week. Number 8 is the ghost at the top of the food chain. Number 7, the raccoon. The most dangerous thing about the raccoon is not its teeth or its claws, though it has both and will use them. It is what it can carry. Across the eastern United States, the raccoon is the primary wildlife reservoir of its own strain of rabies, and the Appalachians sit squarely inside that zone. The animal you think of as a masked clown raiding the campsite cooler is, statistically, one of the most frequently reported rabid animals in the region. A rabid raccoon does not always foam and stagger. Sometimes it simply loses its fear, wanders in daylight, approaches people, moves wrong, unafraid. And rabies, once symptoms begin, is very nearly always fatal, which is why every unprovoked raccoon bite becomes a medical emergency and a series of shots. Bats carry the same threat in the rafters of the cabin. Number 7 is the danger hiding behind the friendliest face in the woods. Number 6, the black bear. Everyone knows there are black bears in the Appalachians. What stops people cold is the density. Great Smoky Mountains National Park holds an estimated 1,500 to 1,900 black bears, roughly 2 bears for every square mile, the densest black bear population in the country, at every elevation from the town streets of Gatlinburg to the summit of the highest peak. A large male can weigh 250 pounds in summer and far more in fall, run 30 miles an hour, and climb better than you can. Attacks are genuinely rare, and most bears want nothing to do with people. But that math changes fast around human food, and in recent years the park has closed trails after bears grew bold enough to take backpacks and in at least one case bite someone. A fed bear loses its fear, and a bear without fear is a different animal. Number 6 is the one you knew was here, in numbers you didn't. Number 5, the fisher. Now the animals begin to genuinely surprise. The fisher is a dark, muscular member of the weasel family, the size of a small dog, and it is one of the few predators on Earth that regularly kills and eats porcupines, flipping them to get past the quills. For a century, it was gone from most of the Appalachians, trapped out for its fur and starved of the old forest it needs. Then it was quietly brought back. In 1969, West Virginia traded wild turkeys to New Hampshire for 23 fishers and released them in the Monongahela National Forest. And from that handful, the animal has spread across the state and into Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. Today, there may be 1,000 to 2,000 in West Virginia alone. Almost no one ever sees them, but they are out there in the mature forest, ferocious for their size, famous for a scream in the dark that has fed mountain folklore for generations. Number 5 is a predator most people don't know exists, moving back into the hills on its own. Number 4, the golden eagle. When you picture a golden eagle, a 7-foot wingspan, talons that can crush bone, you picture the American West, open country, big sky. You do not picture a dense, fog-bound Appalachian hollow in January. And yet a small, secretive population of golden eagles breeds in the wilds of northeastern Canada and comes south every winter to live along the spine of these mountains, concentrated in the high forests of West Virginia and Virginia. They are almost impossible to see. Unlike their western cousins that hunt in the open, the eastern golden eagles winter deep in remote, forested, high-elevation country far from people, so completely hidden that biologists mostly study them through motion-triggered cameras, baited with roadkill deer, strung along the mountains from Alabama to Quebec. A bird powerful enough to take a fox or a fawn, has been wintering silently overhead the whole time. Number 4 is the western legend that has been hiding in the eastern woods in plain sight. Number 3, the elk. For a century and a half, the sound was gone from these mountains, the bugle of a bull elk in the fall. Eastern elk were hunted out of the Appalachians by the mid-1800s, and a person could live a whole life in these hills and never know the animal had ever belonged here. Then, in 2001, biologists released 25 elk into the Cataloochee Valley of the Great Smoky Mountains, and the next year 27 more. They stayed. The herd has grown to more than 250, spreading out of the park, and Kentucky's separate reintroduction has swelled into the thousands across the Appalachian coal fields. These are not deer. A bull elk stands taller than a man at the shoulder and can weigh 700 pounds. And during the autumn rut, swollen with hormones and guarding his harem, he will lower that rack and charge anything he reads as a rival, which has included people who wandered too close for a photograph. The park now makes it illegal to approach within 50 yards. Number 3 is the giant that vanished for 150 years and came back. Number 2, the European wild boar. There are wild boars in the Great Smoky Mountains, actual European wild boars, tusked and bristled and mean, and the reason why is one of the strangest stories in these hills. In 1912, a hunting preserve on Hooper Bald in the North Carolina mountains imported a stock of European wild boar from across the Atlantic for wealthy sportsmen to hunt. The enclosure was never much good. By around 1920, the boars had rooted their way out and vanished into the mountains, and they never left. A century later, their descendants, now hybridized with escaped domestic pigs, roam the Smokies and the surrounding national forests, active mostly at night, capable of covering 20 miles in a night, armed with self-sharpening tusks and a willingness to fight when cornered. The Park Service has spent decades trying to control them because they root up whole hillsides and devour the rare plants and salamanders found nowhere else on Earth. Number 2 is an animal from the forests of Europe, gone feral in Appalachia for over 100 years, that most visitors have no idea is out there in the dark. Number 1, the tick. And the most dangerous animal in the Appalachian Mountains is one you will almost never see, cannot feel, and may already be carrying. It is the tick, and by free measure that matters to human beings, nothing else on this list comes close. Consider what these mountains actually hold. The black-legged tick spreads Lyme disease, whose range is climbing deeper into Appalachia every year. The American dog tick and the Lone Star tick carry Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and despite the western-sounding name, more than 3/4 of the country's cases occur in a cluster of states led by North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and Alabama, the Appalachian South. It can kill if it isn't caught in time. And the Lone Star tick does something stranger still. Its bite can rewire the immune system into alpha-gal syndrome, a sudden, sometimes permanent allergy to red meat, with hundreds of thousands of Americans now affected, the hot zone running straight through these mountains. No fangs, no claws, no warning. A creature the size of a poppy seed climbs onto you from a blade of grass beside the trail, and you carry it home, and weeks later something in your blood is not the same. Every animal on this list hides. This one hides on you. Number 1 is the smallest thing in these mountains, and the one most likely to change your life. So here is what this list is really about. Not fear. These are some of the most beautiful mountains on the continent, and they are worth every mile. It is about the gap between how gentle they look and how much they actually hold. The oldest mountains on Earth wear their danger the way they wear everything else. Quietly, patiently, folded into all that green until you would never know. The copperhead is still in the leaf litter beside the trail. The boar is still moving through the dark on the far ridge, and somewhere over a fog-filled hollow in the dead of winter, an eagle that everyone swears belongs 2,000 miles west is riding the wind above a forest that has been hiding it, and all the rest of them in plain sight the entire time, waiting, the way these mountains have waited, since long before there was anyone here to walk through them and call them tame.